This is Jamey from Stonemeyer Games, and I am here this week to talk about my favorite game mechanism in the new HBO show Westworld. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I've watched the first two episodes of Westworld, and while this video won't go into plot spoilers, there there are spoilers in this video from those first two episodes. So if you haven't watched those first two episodes and you're interested in watching them, probably don't watch this video. So Westworld itself is a TV show, but really it's a game. I guess it's kind of a theme park. The idea is that guests go into this theme park where animatronic robots, sentient beings that look and feel like humans, and a world that looks and feels like a Western world. Real humans go into this world and interact with it, and so it's kind of like a theme park. But really, it's more like a massive multiplayer online game where you interact with this world and you can do pretty much whatever you want in this world. And the show kind of plays up these ideas of how different interactions that you have with people might lead to things you can do, kind of like side quests, even though there is no main quest. So, for example, in the latest episode, there's this one human guy who enters the park, offers to help someone up who's fallen into the mud, and his friend who's with him is like, no, don't do that, because if you do that, that guy is going to send you on some side quest that you can go on, and we're not here for that. We're here to pick our own path. And which I love that concept, that there are all these things that you can do if you want to do them, but you can also just walk around and explore the world and pick your own path. And if you paid enough money, you could start your own saloon there. Really, you could, if you did that, you could do anything. The reason this came to mind for game mechanisms, because as I'm watching the show, it's really fascinating to watch, because it's basically the ultimate game. It elevates, it's beyond video games, it's beyond board games. It's a real life game, kind of like a LARP, really, but a LARP with storylines that you can interact with. But the thing that really got me thinking was something that happened at the end of the second episode. And so again, this isn't really a plot spoiler, but it's a beautiful moment spoiler. So if you haven't watched that episode, then don't listen to this. But basically, the company that runs Westworld, one of the guys at this company comes up with this, what he believes is a really cool storyline, a new storyline for guests to interact with. Like in any theme park when they add a new ride, say. But the guy who created Westworld, he says, and this guy who creates this new storyline pitches it as a way for people who enter the park to learn more about themselves through this storyline. And the guy who invented Westworld turns him down and says, "No, we don't want this new storyline. Westworld isn't about people discovering who they are. People already know who they are. Westworld is about people discovering some element of this world that they think that no one else has ever noticed before." And I love that concept. I really, really love this. The idea that in a game, you can have the feeling, whether or not it's true, you can have the feeling of discovering a strategy or this little thing that no one has ever, that you feel like no one has ever noticed before in this game, and that you can, maybe it's just a moment in the game, maybe it's just something in the art that you noticed, or maybe it's like I said, a full strategy that you can pursue and that you can try to break, or you can do whatever you want with it. And I just really, really love this concept in games. It's something that's probably present in almost any game. The idea that you can pick something that you think people haven't noticed before, and you can do that one thing as much as you want or as little as you want. But I love this idea, especially in a game if you build the game around that idea. Open world games, sandbox games are games that do this. Games with really detailed art can do this. Even in any game where you have a lot of great art, you might have little details in that art, little Easter eggs or little hints at things to come. And I really, really love that idea. Obviously, today I'm not talking about a specific board game or a specific video game or anything. I mean, I'm talking about Westworld. But I'm really this as I'm still designing Charterstone right now. So Charterstone is a very open game where you're building a village from start to finish, and there is a storyline in the game. But I guess the Westworld thing is a reminder that some of the most exciting things that I can build in a Charterstone are things that players discover themselves. They aren't me telling you, hey, this is the thing that happens next. They're the little things that people discover as they play, whether it's building a certain building that they, in a certain way, and using that in a certain way that you get the feeling that no one else has ever done this. And hopefully that will be the case in Charter. Like no one's played Charterstone or the final version yet, so hopefully every time someone plays it, they'll have that feeling of, oh, I'm doing this for the first time. No one has ever done this before. So I love that idea in games, and I'm wondering if you have any examples that you can think of, especially in tabletop games, where you have a moment where you're like, I'm doing something right now that I'm not so sure someone has ever done this before, or someone has ever noticed this thing in this game before. And maybe you then go online and find out that dozens of people have, but you for a moment you're like, this is my discovery. I discovered this thing, and I feel good about that. I'm enjoying this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about that and about Westworld if you've seen the first two episodes. Thanks.